Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Tetcher, and welcome to another episode of Tetcher Teaches. This is where we have a look at some professional plays or at maps, at heroes in general, and we try and learn more about them together. Today is part one of a two-part series, but it's not going to be one episode after the other. It will be part one this week and part two next week, as opposed to days apart, due to the fact that I overestimated how much effort I had to put into preparing this and to researching this. It was a pretty big undertaking. But before we start, I have a quick request from everyone watching, and that is you need to help me give something a name. Due to the fact that I just received an order that I made from Blizzard, and I got this bag, and in the bag, hang on, it's on my top of my tower, which is quite high. I got this, which appears to have his drool over here-ish, messing with the green screen, but whatever. I got a plush Stitches, which is fantastic. I love it. It is absolutely amazing. Like, look at the detail on this. Let me hold it. Oh, appears to be phasing out of existence a little bit there, but that's fine. Absolutely beautiful thing. And one of my favorite things, this is really going to mess with the green screen if I do this, but whatever. It might not do it. Just the derpiest face ever. Actually, it looks even better because he is just phasing through reality. That is pretty fantastic. But yeah, I got this because I wanted it. spend some of my casting money, and also I really wanted the Bikini Stitches skin. But I want you guys to give a suggestion. What am I naming this? I need a name for it. I don't just want to call it Stitches. Like, Stitches is cool, but I feel this guy's too cool to not have just an in general name. So feel free to suggest that as you will in the comment section below. Let me put him back up on top of my tower where he belongs. But for now, let's get to the topic of today's Tetcher Teachers. And today we are talking about 4 of the teams who have qualified for the road to BlizzCon. Yes, the road to BlizzCon. Every team is now confirmed. So we will be talking today about the one Korean team, both European teams, and one of the American teams. Here you can see the format of how teams did qualify, thanks to our friends over at Wikipedia. Korea, from the OGN Champion Professional League, came up with one team, which is how they're supposed to do it. Europe just had the EU Open, which we just had a couple of days ago from when I'm recording this, and well, this is going out tomorrow, so the day passed from when you are seeing this is a couple of days ago from when you're seeing this as well. And then America is a combination of the North American, Latin American, Southeast Asia, and Australian/New Zealand championships. However, it was 2 North American teams that won, so we are, unfortunately, despite their best efforts, going to disregard pretty much everything here. But we're only going to be looking at one team from the America region, and the other team we'll look at next week, along with the 2 Chinese teams and the 1 Taiwan team, who qualified on the exact same day as the European teams. So let's have a look at the teams in general. So starting off, we're going to be looking at Team DKKR. Pretty decent team. We're going to be looking through their Wikipedia pages first. Don't know why I thought that was a good idea, because now I have to F11 to get to this window, because I didn't think this through. There is a button too. There is a button. Is it just Control Tab? Yeah, but that's just going to take me along the list. That's going to be a pain. Well, we're just going to have to F11 and un-F11 as we do this, due to the fact that I am incompetent. But Team DKKR is the team that qualified from Korea, and it was an unexpected qualification. Everyone who I spoke to expected it to be MVP Black who qualified for BlizzCon, but they didn't in the finals, and this is a spoiler. Team DK were able to take down MVP Black. They also did a fantastic job of taking everyone. They topped their group, same group as MRR, who I believe are disbanded due to the fact that 2 of their best players went over to Snake Esports. But they went out in the first round to Snake Esports, in fact, and people didn't really expect them to do as well, that well, I believe. But they went down to lower bracket, they beat out MRR again, and then they got their revenge on Snake Esports, and then went all the way to the final, where they were able to take down MVP Black in a 4-2 victory. A very impressive feat for a team who had such a wonky start at the start, but only takes one game, and then you just get to come back and work your way through. They also played very, very effectively, and we will be looking at some of their games. But first, let's have a look at the roster in general. And Team DK, they used to be called No Limit, which was Jahian Sniper, Nobles, SCC, and Crazy Moving, which is their exact team now. Yeah, we had other than a small captain swap, the team has remained pretty much unchanged throughout. But some of you may recognize a couple of these names due to the fact that a lot of them are, I think 4 out of 5 of them are ex-StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Brood War players who played at a very professional level and did a very good job there, but switched over to Heroes of the Storm upon the release and were playing for Team No Limit, where they were then picked up by Team DK. Very, very powerful team, and yeah, we're going to have a look at some of the games for some of the games now, and I have some certain bits that I want to pick out because Team DK, well known for certain points. Did I reset the timer on this? Yes, I did. So yeah, this is the start of the very first game in the finals, MVP Black versus Team DK. And a reminder, some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, like I'm going to talk about their styles, their strategies here, but you have to remember that a lot of these will likely change before BlizzCon due to the fact that Morales is going to be released, and there's obviously going to be a patch coming very, very soon, which is going to change a lot of things. But this is from the time they qualified. I'm pretty much only looking at finals games, or if a team didn't do too well in the finals, their other games during the main tournament for the qualifier. So remember, things are subject to change. Take all of what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, but I want to give you guys a vague idea of all of the teams. If you're from America and you don't keep up with the EU scene as well, then maybe this will help explain that. And if you don't watch any of the Asian scenes at all, then this could be some information that might help you guys out. So let's get back into having a look at Team DK at the start. And their composition to start off with, you can already see that they play a Illidan and Abathur, and they play this quite a lot. They picked this twice during the finals. Some of their other heroes that they like to really pick out include Sylvanas and Malfurion. They will really highly prioritize Malfurion, or at least they will rate him above Kharazim. But this could be due to a practice amount and a comfort pick, as opposed to their rating in terms of power on a hero. But that when they had opportunities to pick Kharazim out, including when they had an Illidan composition, where they could have used that Divine Palm to save Illidan, they instead decided to use the Malfurion as the protection. In this composition, though, they went for the Rhaegar as he was available for their Illidan. But they basically, if they are second pick in the draft, they will just pick Illidan and Abathur in the same go, and then just build their composition around that quite a few times. They also are very fond, as will become a theme throughout most of the teams here. Excuse me, hiccups. They are very fond of Tyrael. So, let us skip forward a bit. I have 3 clips to show you here. So, 216. 216.25. Alright, let's see if we can hit this. Because once again, we're on Twitch. It is quite hard to hit times, especially in multiple hour-long footage. Alright, so we see a small fight coming up, and we're going to pause here while we do talk about it. And Team DK, some of their advantages and their play styles. They're, firstly, incredibly good against melee assassins, and we're going to see that there's Zeratul and a Thrall on the team of MVP Black in this scenario, and you'll see them against some other Zeratul plays in the future. They're very good playing against Zeratul, and pretty much when they want melee assassins, they very highly prioritize Illidan as their melee assassins. They seem to prefer much more long and sustained fights, which is why you will see the Malfurions and a lot of characters with the ability to shield each other to protect against any kind of burst damage while they try and win in a longer outlasted fight. Also, the Tassadar pops in now and again with Dimensional Shift, where he can heal himself up and keep himself quite healthy, and has mana regen to keep himself up there as well. You'll also notice down the bottom here that the Rhaegar, I'm not sure if you can see it properly, but he did pick the extra damage talent on his level 1 talent for his lightning shield, so we can throw that onto Illidan and give him bonus attack damage, which is an alpha level strat, but still fairly effective if you're confident that you can get the amount of damage and have the amount of mana you need to get away. Get the amount of healing you need and have enough mana to do all that healing that you need to keep that Illidan alive. So they're also very confident with cooldown reduction abilities and talents, and really, the long sustained fights, if they can't really get one of those, they will just kite to maximum potential, which is what makes them so good against melee assassins. So we can see here, Illidan, he's wandering in, and there's a good chance he will get caught out here, and they do disengage quickly. Illidan gets Sundering and taken down so quickly, which can happen with Illidan when he gets locked down. So now we see a start of a disengage from Team DK here. A lot of damage, good ancestral healing. Sniper is the Abathur clone. He is expendable, so we don't even see him go down, though, due to the fact he gets... no, sorry, he did go down. It was the other Tyrael that did teleport out and moving, able to get out of there and just keep himself pretty safe here. But what we have here is MVP Black in a position they really like to be in. Yes, they're a talent down, but they have a one-man advantage and a boss is up. So you can see them already moving up here to try and fight over that boss as much as possible. Team DK, they like that longer sustained fight and they haven't really thrown away many of their heroics. So they start to move in here, start to just try and look for the best angle. They find a gap into the boss pit here. And with the boss being taken, they just get into that pit to prevent it going down. Tyrael currently holding the line on that. Rhaegar going to be joining him. Tassadar dealing with the backline, keeping it distracted, and just in time for Illidan to come back to life with the combination of Illidan and the Tyrael explosion. They're able to take down everyone on that circle. Thrall has to run away, and they're able to take the victory. Due to the fact that MVP wasted a lot of heroics killing just Illidan, and they kept enough of theirs up, delayed and ran out the fight enough for Illidan to return, and then they were able to get it down. And, like we said, used Tyrael explosion to very good effect in order to take that down. So that was a very interesting fight from Team DK there. They were able to play that to great effect. And in this particular fight, they were able to get quite a few buildings. So we're going to skip ahead here to some more play against melee assassins that we were talking about. This is a bit far back, but we'll try and get a bit further ahead. That's a bit too far, probably. Alright, so fiddly. Hang on, turn down sensitivity on my mouse. Try and get it that way. That looks good. Nope, that's pretty much exactly where we were. Alright, well, we'll play it from here and run it down as much as we can. But you can see their composition here is a little bit different. They do have that Malfurion that we were talking about earlier. They also have Sylvanas, which once again we were talking about, and they really like their very mobile assassins when they do pick them, but they're very good at the specialists and niche picks as well. There's actually a game here that we're not looking at where they picked a Sergeant Hammer and played it to incredibly good effect, due to the fact they were just able to protect it. And they play a good game of protect the person who is at the most risk. In this particular scenario, the person at the most risk from being taken down is Malfurion. He has Ice Block, which allows him to save himself, but he's still a good target due to the fact that he has the least mobility on the team. Other people at risk are Vala and Sylvanas. Sylvanas, her escape ability isn't as reliable as Vala's due to the fact you have to wait for it to travel for a bit. But we're going to see them play a very good game of protecting those vital characters in this particular fight. So we see them moving forward as much as possible. Saka doing a lot of damage and Leoric having to back out. The good Void Prism, which sets up very nicely to try and take down Sniper, who is the Sylvanas in this particular sense. Backs away. Malfurion is caught there, but they take down the only person targeting him, despite the fact he was targeted. Sniper blinking over the wall, moving, takes a lot of damage. He is taken down by the Zeratul, but a lot of protection is done, and now Sniper being focused by Zeratul again. And this is Lockdown we're talking about here, but still able to outplay him, and the rest of the team turning around, realizing there was a threat, and dealing with the person in the most danger. So if they outplay that very well, once again they had a talent advantage, but they still were able to use that to their advantage. Second as Bond of the Storms hit, they were able to massively outplay Zeratul, and Lockdown definitely one of the best melee assassins in the world, but wasn't able to stand up to the good focus and the good sustain and just maneuverability of the assassins on the side of Team DK. And once again, good focus protecting Malfurion after he got caught in that lamb to the slaughter. And last replay, bit we're going to be looking at here is another bit of protecting the healer, and this one's quite a bit full because we're skipping over an entire game here because there's a lot to go by. This is all on their Twitch, by the way, if you want to go and watch this for yourself, and I definitely recommend it. The games are pretty good. And there we go. That's pretty much it. So there we go. Illidan, we're getting straight into it here. Let's pause. So Illidan dived in straight away trying to catch someone out. And so did SCSC, who was just trying to get in there. They're trying to take their advantage. They are both on the same talents. Currently, MVP Black are ahead in this particular game by a single level. But that's about to disappear for Team DK, so they're going in with the advantage they have. And the two melee characters going very, very deep straight away. So, Tyrael diving into the backline. They're trying to control the backline here, while Sonya has managed to find Illidan, who is backing away, making sure that he doesn't get caught out here. Back to their healer. They've chased away Sonya, so they retarget onto Muradin, who's low in the front. But now Sonya coming back in and is focusing the healer, so immediately everyone turns around and deals with Lockdown, who's now not only out of position, but is trying to deal with a very risky character, so they have to keep control. And they leave it because they know moving, despite taking a lot of damage, can deal with Sonya, and the rest of the team continue to chase, and they will be able to pick up all but one player as a kill. Reyna having to back away from this, sends out his Reyna's Raiders, but not able to take it down. But you saw good sustain there using that Malfurion, and the huge amount of shields that they do get together if you kept an eye on Illidan in that fight. In fact, yeah, let's rewind this and have a look at the amount of shields and healing that Illidan gets in the fight. So keep an eye on Illidan, who is a Noblesse, and takes a bit of damage, dives in, still taking damage, healed up to full already thanks to his own first aid, and is still healing thanks to Malfurion. It's still taking damage, still getting healed, using Metamorphosis, so he's back to full again, gets a shield, and Tyrael is giving him a shield at the same time, and he hasn't even popped his stone skin yet, so he's still looking pretty good for damage here, taking a lot from the Raiders. There's the stone skin in combination with another shield from Tyrael, and they're able to get out of there, and Illidan sustained massively well, thanks to shields from Abathur, Tyrael, and the healing from Malfurion and himself. So they really sustained through a fight and just kept Illidan alive and protected their risky characters. Jaina did go down at the end, thanks to those Reyna's Raiders, but they were still able to win that fight, and ultimately they took the series pretty convincingly. So let's move on to our next team here, who we're going to be looking at, due to the fact that we've talked as much as we can. I've talked quite a bit about Team DK. The things you really need to know about them is they really like sustaining comps. Illidan is a target pick for them, but only really if they can get Abathur with it. It all depends on the bans that have happened, and I can probably go back into a ban where they did pick Illidan, which is this game. So let's see if I can get back into a ban phase, if I can find one. Like I said, it's very fiddly to get one here. Let's see if I can just find a draft screen. There we go, there's a draft screen. So let's bring that up. You can see here that they were second pick, so the first ban was absolutely the Lost Vikings in this particular scenario, and this is because it was the Garden of Terror. It's a very big map, so it can be a bit of an issue to deal with, and they banned out Uther on the other side. Sonya was picked up, so now they have a Sonya with no Uther, because Uther's banned up. MVP Black put a lot of emphasis onto Sonya, and Team DK immediately picking up Abathur and the Illidan, despite the fact they don't have Uther for themselves, but they know they wouldn't get it due to the fact that MVP Black would pick it up second pick if it hadn't already been picked away. And yes, the second wave of bans, they banned out MVP Black, did a good job of banning out Rhaegar to prevent the burst healing onto Illidan, which did force Team DK onto the Malfurion. They could have once again gone for Kerosene, but they chose not to. They chose Malfurion, who can stay in the backline, and they just worked extra hard to keep him protected, keep him safe, and keep the fight going. And that was it. They then just built their comp around it. They took a Jaina, who could be Ultimate Evolutioned if they wanted to, get that extra damage with the double Frostbitten, sorry. Tyrael, they've used it so many times. They're very good with it. Effective explosion damage and just really good fight potential. Extra shields for the Illidan as well. And like we said, finished off with the Malfurion with the cooldown reduction to get his cooldowns just off cooldown as much as possible, and cooldown reduction on Tyrael as well to just make sure that, let's see if we can skip ahead and show the talents here. There we go. So you can see there, Tyrael going for that cooldown reduction so that he could just get his abilities off as much as possible. I've gone too far. And yeah, MVP Black do win this game, I'm pretty sure. But Team DK do actually win the series overall. There we go. So yeah, you can see the hardened focus coming in from Malfurion at the end there. So both of them getting their cooldowns up and making sure that the heals and the shields come out as much as possible. Excuse me. So the main thing that we have learned from this is they are very effective at playing those melee assassins of their own. So a very dangerous team to play against due to the fact that the huge emphasis that a lot of the teams from the other regions do put on melee assassins. So for example, one of the other teams we're going to be looking at today, in fact most of the other teams we're looking at today, but the winners from EU and from NA Na'Vi and Cloud9 both go quite heavily into melee assassins in different ways. So we're going to be having a look at those and seeing, we're going to be looking at Na'Vi next in fact, so we can see about them and see exactly what's going on here. So Na'Vi was the winner from the EU region. They played the grand final against Team Dignitas. They played a spectacular week, by the way, going 4-0 in the groups, beating out Pirates in Pyjamas, Team Dignitas, and then moving on to beat Gamers 2, their old rivals in the semi-finals, and then going on to beat Team Dignitas again in the grand finals in a 3-0. So overall, their record was 10-0 throughout the entire weekend. So they did a spectacular job, very powerful team, and a completely different style and set of strengths and weaknesses from them as opposed to Team DK. So Na'Vi is a very different beast. They have a lot of priority on the Tyrande for starters. Tyrande is very powerful for them. Shwimpy playing on that is a very dangerous person to go up against. He's also very good on the Tyrael, but don't see that as often as we do in some other teams, but we do see it quite a bit often. JPL on his Kael'thas, some would say that is definitely his strongest hero, but maybe not as strong as others, but this Kael'thas is quite dangerous, so people know that he is sometimes a target ban. When you play against him, people are like, well, let's ban out Kael'thas due to the fact that we are against JPL. But that does leave a lot of options open. And Na'Vi, very, very powerful with those melee assassins. Like we said, they don't always pick them because it's not always a comp that works for them. But Butcher and Kerrigan are definitely some good melee assassins for them to run due to the fact that a large amount of Na'Vi strength, and once again, in all of these scenarios, these aren't the only comps they run. All of these teams who have got there are so versatile, and we've seen them run pretty much every comp in under the sun, really. But Na'Vi, very, very comfortable with those very heavy stun and very good pick comps. They are very, very strong in picking out heroes and doing large AoE damage, is what we see quite a lot as well. So their strategy is basically find someone and kill them off. A divide and conquer style of play is what we see from a large sum of their games. It's very impressive play, and we're going to be having a look at some of that now. I believe it's this one. Excellent, that looks about right. So yeah, players on the side of oh hey, hang on, we're going to have a look at Team Na'Vi on the team list. So let's pop that up. So Team Na'Vi players, they've had quite a few team changes in general, including sending two players over to Fnatic. Fnatic were also at the Road to BlizzCon finals, but were unable to get out of the groups, unfortunately. But Na'Vi did get out of the groups and won the entire thing, and their players include Shwimpy, who we've already mentioned, Eternal, JPL, Splendor, and Alex the Pro G, who is a very one of the funniest players I have seen, due to the fact that he was the first person I saw the huge sustain Leoricon, where basically, also the lane bully Leoricon, where you basically take Hardened Bones and Lingering Apparition on levels 4 and 7, and then stay top lane on a map like Dragonshire basically forever and just split push. It was one of the most annoying builds we've ever seen, and it did pop up quite a few times in a couple tournaments, including a couple of the Road to BlizzCon tournaments, but he's sort of moved away from that build a bit now, but it was still interesting. Definitely one of the first times I saw a build like that. But the team, very, very solid, very good players here. So let's have a look at some of their play, and we can see that, like we said, Shwimpy playing the Tyrande, like we did call out. They did get Brightwing in this game, but they do have a Kerrigan in this game as well, a good melee assassin to help round out their roster and help do all that pick damage. And you can see here, their team, everyone has some form of CC. They have the Root from Arthur, Stun from Kerrigan and Tyrande and Kael'thas, and the Brightwing has a Polymorph, and of course the Pull from Kerrigan as well. So just early game scuffle there, trying to catch someone out. But a lot of potential there, and there's also the fact that all of these have the potential for an AoE ult at the start. Most of these, sorry, have potential for AoE ults, all the damage dealers anyway. Tyrande has the potential for the Starfall, the Maelstrom from the Kerrigan, the Phoenix from the Kael'thas. A lot of just AoE damage which is a case for most teams, really, but Na'Vi really likes to just lock people down and then pick them off, and if anyone else tries to get in there, then it's AoE for zoning and just control the area and just do all the damage that you can. So, let's find the first clip I have here, which is at 49 seconds exactly, apparently. So let's find that. Close enough. That's very close, in fact. That's pretty good for me. So, you see here, they are against Team Dignitas in the grand final here. Already doing a good job. Someone has been stunned up there. The quality's not very high. Yeah, well, that is max, alright. But, you see here, Alex Progi, and I assume that is Arthas. No, Arthas is Alex Progi. So, who is that? Kerrigan, Tyrande, Brightwings. That's Kael'thas. Kael'thas quite far forward, possibly in a bit of a risky position there, so you really don't want to get caught out in that. But already backing out, a Pharaoh Angel coming around from the side to try and just get a good engage for his team here. And they start to turn around. They're still retreating backwards, making sure that they don't get killed off. Alex the Progi doing quite a bit of damage here, but they're still yet to really turn around and do anything. Void Prism was used straight away, but already, there's a Void Prism from Team Dignitas, but already, we will rewind here just a bit, but Na'Vi had already started to change the focus in that fight. They changed the focus from retreating to focusing. Now, have a look at ADRD in the bottom here. He's trying to circle around and get the damage, but straight away, just before that Void Prism goes down, we see JPL, Schwimpy, and Splendor all turn to focus that Jaina. Eternal goes in to try and get the kill, and does. And that, due to the fact that everyone rushed to help ADRD, gave his team enough time to come out of the Void Prism. And then they turn around to try and pick off everyone else. They got Rhaegar on the other side, and they chase down Zarmony to try and pick off another kill. And I believe they get it. I don't really remember. No, nice stun there by Zarmony. He's on the run, but he should be able to get out of there pretty nicely. So let's have a look at the next clip. It is 1:23 exactly. A lot of exacts in this one, I've noticed. 1:23, 1:22:59. That's awesome. We're good at that. So you can see that we are on Dragonshire now. A talent advantage is over to Na'Vi, but their composition is quite a bit different. No melee assassin for them this time, and they are running the Kharazim. They're up against Sonya, Jaina, Tyrael, a very Korean-looking team over from Team Dignitas there. But Na'Vi, Johanna, the Kharazim, the Leoric, currently doing exactly what I was talking about. Different build, but he is just chilling up in the top lane, clearing everything up. They have a Reyna due to the fact that it is a double tank lineup, triple tank lineup from Team Dignitas, so that Giant Killer is there to help start the work. And JPL still managing to get onto his Kael'thas to do all the damage there. And the Kharazim pick, I would like to point out, was more than likely a steal away from Bakery, who we will be talking about later. But that's like one of the main reasons that they did pick that. But we're going to see here the kind of composition they have, because once again, we have some crowd control. We have stun, and just normal CC. We have slows. This is mostly just damage and healing. And we have a phase, which has now become a stun with the level 16 talent. So let's keep an eye on them here. And they're just looking for their opportunity to get an engagement now. And there we go, coming in. They find Stitch out of position, trying to pick him up. The stuns do land, but they're just pushing forward now, trying to get an opportunity. Already, they find Bakery, and now they've completely split up the team. Zarmony really out of position from his team because he tried to take a different exit because he was completely trapped away. And they're able to take down two members, able to pick off Bakery because he was a bit out of position, and force Zarmony out of position, so that easily got them a lovely 2 kills. And that gets them the Dragon Knight, which in this game brings them pretty close to the end of it. And let's have a look at the last clip, which is at 1:52 exactly. That's close enough. So, once again, we are on the... Sorry, for the first time, we're actually on the Battlefield of Eternity, and this is a comp that we've seen from quite a few regions before this, so this is not new, but it's executed very, very well from Na'Vi. We have the Abathur coming in again, who is another very powerful pick for them, which does come in every now and again. Lots of teams are good with Abathur. Shrimpy, another very, very solid Abathur player, has done great jobs with it in the past. And if you didn't watch Na'Vi's very first game in the European Road to BlizzCon, which I believe was against Pirates? Hang on. Wait, hang on. We can see. Let's have a look. I Like the very first game from the European Road to BlizzCon was... Nope, that's Korea. Europe. Yeah, Na'Vi versus Pirates in Pyjamas. The very first game from that on the Dragonshire was spectacular. Very, very interesting game. Very, very good. Where basically Shrimpy and his team were able to just completely control a Immortal, and Shrimpy, using Mule and Abathur shields, was able to save the core on 4% with his team bursting down the Immortal and luring it away from their core so they didn't die. So very, very good play there. Shrimpy very good on that Abathur, and it's what he's playing this time. But we also have the Mighty Gust Lamb to the Slaughter combo. So we have a lockdown combo there where basically they can lock down someone and separate someone else off. And this is what we're talking about. They pick off players. They pick off individual people, which in the late game is devastating when you lose someone for that large amount of time. And of course, they have the huge amount of stun potential from the Kerrigan, the Butcher, and the Uther. So a lot of stun potential there, and the Abathur can clone pretty much everyone in the situation. So right now, JPL moving forward on that Butcher, who's another hero he can play at a spectacular level. So you can see him looking for an opportunity there, finds Snitch, starts to slow him, Kerrigan coming in, they get engaged, Snitch is already gone. They've already found a person, they've already picked them up, and they've already split up ADRD away from his team. And because of that, you already see the Lamb to the Slaughter going down here, while everyone else is getting ready to fight on this backline, excuse me. But that's what they're looking to do. They're not looking to fight these people on the backline. Yes, they're doing the damage, but JPL has already locked down ADRD over here with that Lamb to the Slaughter, and as such, they disengage everyone else because they don't want anyone coming over here to save ADRD. ADRD needs to go down. He's the Kael'thas. So the Abathur clones onto the Butcher, and before the Lamb to the Slaughter even goes down, they're able to take him down, and now you see Dignitas completely on the run as there's not much they can do. Bakery completely locked down. He was separated once again, took a different route to his team due to the fact that he was forced there by the positioning of Na'Vi and was picked off. And this is how Na'Vi excels. This is how Na'Vi get a lot of their kills. They are really good at just picking people off the map. If you're out of position at any point, they will punish you for that, and they're very good at forcing you into those out of position and less than beneficial plays. So really cool there. They were the European champions, and they're going through to BlizzCon as well. So let's move on to the next team. Once again, another European team. Let's close these two. So second European team was Team Dignitas, who came second. They used to be Bob ? If you guys haven't heard of them yet, so let's have a quick look at them. And yeah, they picked up Bob ? who were a spectacular team. And you'll see a couple names who will be familiar to you here. So Bakery, Snitch, and Zarmady from Team SK Gaming, who were pretty good back in the day. They went to the first DreamHack, which was DreamHack Bucharest, where they didn't do too well. They came, I know they did pretty well actually. They came third, which was a really good, and had some really good games. This was back when Bakery was playing Assassin. Since then, they had some roster changes, they had some difficulties, they had some issues, but they eventually rebuilt their roster with a Pharaoh Angel coming in, and to finish it up, after the time when ADRD separated from Gamers 2, where they had some disagreements and some difficulties in how Gamers 2 wanted their roster to be, ADRD was let go, and the instant reaction from at the time Bob ? was, well, we want him. ADRD, known by Kalaris and co as the Mad Scientist. He is a master drafter, very intelligent, and a very solid player. So he was a good addition to the squad, and the team has managed to build together to make one of the best teams in Europe today. Or in this case, as we saw the finals, the second best team in Europe today, and one of two teams to be able to beat Team Liquid on a fairly consistent basis. So very interesting to see Team Dignitas do such a good job. But yeah, Bakery, a Pharaoh Angel, Snitch, ADRD, and Zarmady. Very solid lineup. And a Pharaoh Angel, one of the more interesting players. He's the tank player for the team, and he's one of the tank players in the game who will willingly bring out a very alternative tank pick if he thinks it'll work. Like, it was seen during the tournament, and we'll see during one of these replays actually, and Kalaris covered it perfectly, saying that Afera Angel thought Chen was OP when he played the game, and it took his teammates to tell him that no, it wasn't. But he was convinced while he was playing that Chen was OP, so he was able to bring it out and win with it during the matches of the Road to BlizzCon European Championships in Prague, and he did a fantastic job. They are just pretty good. He's pretty good at it, and is good at bringing out those niche picks on time. And back when they were Bob question mark, they have been known to bring out the Stitches, which makes me very excited for the new patch, due to the fact that Stitches is obviously getting those changes. So I'm very curious to see if Bob will be bringing that out again under the name of Dignitas. So Dignitas Stitches possibly coming in there. Alright, so delicious water. Let's have a look at Team Dignitas, what they do, how they play. So first things first, some highlight heroes. We can't talk about Dignitas excuse me, without talking about Bakery here. Now, Bakery, not only a master of Reddit, you'll see him on quite a bit. Pretty much everything he puts on Reddit gets a ridiculous amount of upvotes. But he's also considered by a lot of people to be the best Kharazim in the world. And that's a big claim for a lot of people. Back in the day when Blackscorp was in contention with a lot of people for the best melee assassin in the world, and that was a shout out that a lot of people gave him a title that at the time he did possibly deserve. Like, there were one or two people who could challenge him to that. Bakery coming in is being called the best Kharazim in the world, and that is a big call. The person who was in contention to be the other best Kharazim in the world was Merryday on MVP Black, which is why I'm actually quite disappointed that MVP Black did not make it, excuse me, to BlizzCon. So we won't get to see those two teams go up against each other. So we won't get to see who is better. But the fact that Dignitas are there at all, I'm willing for now to give the title over to Bakery. But Kharazim's starting to be used by a lot more teams. There is easily time for someone to come in and take that title from him. But for now, very deserving it. And in this game, though, not really using it. And here is the game that we were talking about, where we see the Chen being played by Afera Angel, and a nice skin for that as well. Idiardi from the Kael'thas we saw quite a lot, and Snitch playing the Zeratul. Now Snitch, he plays Zeratul a reasonable amount, and he plays it fairly different to a lot of people. We see most of the teams going for some combination, in Europe this is, going for some combination of Seasoned Marksman or Regen Master, then taking the focus attacks and then the follow through. In Korea, you replace that follow through with, if you're MVP Black at least, they play this build once or twice. They mostly go for the normal build, like similar to, I say normal, the similar to EU builds, but they also run with a build exactly the same with Seasoned Marksman and focus attacks, but then they take Searing attacks and Shadow Assault, along with the Assassin's Blade at that level, at the level 13 talent. So that's just the auto attack Zeratul that we actually saw them in one of their games against DK. Didn't work, but it was run. But Snitch runs it a little bit differently. He does run the Regen Master pretty much every game, then focus attacks, which is fairly similar to how we go, but then most of the time we'll be taking first aid. He likes that sustained Zeratul. He doesn't want to go in and just try and burst down, because a lot of people are running very protective comps at the moment with Tastars, with extra shielding, extra healers. So he runs that first aid, keep himself nice and sustained, and keep him in the fight as much as possible, which is a very interesting build and very interesting to see. And I bet I chose the wrong starting point there due to the fact that we are now looking at Rock Axe. There was a pause. But I have the timers on. So another thing the Team Dignitas really excels at is a slow attrition push. When they team fight, they move forward. They almost always move forward. They will move back if they're if they need to reposition. But the second they have an advantage, they will push it. And this can lead to them going for some dives. A couple times they do dive quite deep, like during one of these matches. It might have been today, might have been this one, or the one against Na'Vi. We actually saw Bakery on the Kharazim and the and Afera Angel on Tyrael both dive over a wall to try and catch a Tastar. I think it was this game actually, but I don't think we'll get to see that. No, it wasn't this game. It was on Dragonshire, I'm pretty sure. But timings, what do I have? 5:52. 5:52 what? 5:52:30. Yep, that's right. 10:29. That's good. All right, so yeah. Team Dignitas have control of this area. They're already winning the game, but it's level 20 to 21. There's an easy chance that Roccat could just win a fight here and to bring it back. But we're going to see Team Dignitas take the fight and just try and take control of it, because that is how they play it. They try and just take control as much as possible and rule the fights and push forward with them. See him move in here. They find Sport Billy, trying to get him out of position. Takes a bit of damage, but nothing too bad. For the meantime, they move in. Zarmony wants to make sure he doesn't get called out. A Pharaoh Angel just using that chain due to the fact that his opponents don't have too much CC, so he is basically just running the chain due to the fact that he's incredibly tanky and a lot of damage. They're able to take down Sport Billy eventually. I know he does go down in this fight. At least I'm pretty sure he did. Did I remember that wrong? Well, they're trying to focus here. They are pulling back here, trying to reposition. And the second they get advantage of Sport Billy going down, they push forward, and they continue to push forward. They don't turn around for a very long time. They just find Soccer and pick him up as well, and then they will try to grab Shadowbearer as well. I thought they picked up Soccer here. A Pharaoh Angel chasing in here. Yeah, they do. There we go. Snitch moving in. Soccer getting shielded, and they start to focus Soccer down here, bursting him with everything they had. I just got the times wrong on that. This is when they move to the core using that Void Prism to take people down here. We also see Team Dignitas using a hell of a lot of Void Prism, and when they run Zagara, devouring more, sometimes together, just to make sure that they can separate people out. But they're most, we'll see them a lot just pushing through and just trying to gain an advantage that way. And like we see here, sometimes that doesn't work out too well, where they continue to push for a very long time, and as such people will come back to life, or they will dive and be a bit greedy. But they are fantastic when they do fight well, and Roccat, a formidable opponent to go up against. It is very unsurprising that they're able to find that little mistake and make use of it. They're just very, very good team. Snitch, good blink over the wall, keeps himself survive. So let's have a look at another one. Once again, it's another slow push style, so we're going to see that again to just see exactly how they play. So 27, 40, 50... so fiddly. 27, 12, that's what we were just on, wasn't it? God damn it. Close enough. Alright, so we see Dignitas in control. This is the game where they actually chased... it wasn't Astar, I guess, where they chased someone over the wall. But you can see him moving in here. They have a very AoE heavy comp with the Hyperion as well. Soccer trying to back out. Bless Shield comes in, so they already have him trapped, pulling him in. There's the Hyperion, and they start to move forward. ADRD repositioning, and they just trying to push through here. They get Hasselwobs eventually once that Ice Block runs out. Do they kill him? Yeah, they do. With Zarmony there. Oh, they don't kill him. Wow, I've watched so many games today. They're all just blurring together in my head. But Sport Billy is filling full retreat again. This is what they do. They take the advantage and they push through with it as much as they can. Able to just take down pretty much everyone in this fight here. They just continue to chase. They could be splitting off to get the fort in mid lane here while that Valor wasn't dead. Instead, during the wave of just pushing bot lane while they still have it. You can see Johanna heading up to the mid lane, straight top lane to grab the shrine. Everyone else grabbing mercenaries, doing what they can. They pushed as much as they could to try and get that advantage as much as possible. With Team Dignitas doing that a lot. They like to control the fights as much as possible. So they will always try to move forward. They will retreat if they have to. They know how to play the game. But the fight control is what they like, and it's what makes Bakery, in fact, such a good Kharazim. He's always very good at that fight control, and very keen to use that Divine Palm when he needs to. He will not be afraid to go in to deal that damage to help heal up that front line, but he will make sure that his main range damage dealers are protected at all times, and is one of the reasons that he runs the Relentless, due to the fact that if he's stunned up, he can get back to his team to make sure that they are healthy. So we actually seen them push in here, just continuing that slow push. They have mercenary camps. This is just an advantage push here. They have an advantage. They have the stuff. So this isn't just a fight push. This is just regular pushing to try and end the game here, due to the fact they have a huge advantage. But a superb play. Dignitas, very, very solid team. Going to be one to be reckoned with in the finals at BlizzCon. So that's going to be quite interesting to see. And they push in like a lot of Siege Giants, and most of them do turn on to that keep there because Siege Giants aren't very bright. But they do enough damage. They take a lot of, they do a lot here. We We see Bakery in the web here. I believe they take a lot of damage here. Pharaoh punted out. He just turns around to the core. Everyone else distracts. But they don't want to give up. They don't just turn around and try to escape or drive the core. They just do as much as they can, keep their team alive, and then move on to the core when they know they have. And they pulled everyone else away, so they did a very good job there. And that was quite a bit of gibberish there that I managed during that. I did a really bad... I didn't cover that one too well. But Dignitas, very, very strong with their style of play. They like to get those really aggressive fights. They will push into them. But, like we said, they will control the fight, no matter what that means. If they have to retreat during a fight just to get their positioning, they will do so. The fight control is a big Dignitas advantage. So, we have one more team to look at. And this is a team called, most of you will have heard of, this is the team Cloud9. And they were the winners of the Americas Championships. And they were able to beat out Tempo Storm for the Americas title. And as such, come out in first place there. So, oh, that is... Oh yeah, I don't know, we already went over that. So yeah, Cloud9, they were in the group of death, as it were, and they did actually lose to Tempo Storm in the first couple rounds, as we can see here. They lost to Tempo Storm to start off with during the beginning parts, but they were able to beat out Murloc Geniuses quite easily. They went 2-0 to everyone except for Tempo Storm. Did a pretty good job throughout that. And yeah, Group A was a big group of death. Same with in both EU and NA, actually. Like EU, Dignitas, Na'Vi, and Team Liquid. Team Liquid didn't even make it out of the group, just due to how tough it was. Very, very tough group to be in. And Group A in NA, Tempo Storm, and Cloud9, who both went to the finals, was very difficult. Where Cloud9 beat out Cognitive, and then were able to take out Tempo Storm in the finals. So, let's talk a bit about Cloud9. So, the first things that you need to know about Cloud9 is they are the ex-masters of throwing. They used to be amazing at finding a way to take a game and throw it away, take a game that they had won. As pretty much only against Tempo Storm this happened, but they used to take the game where they had it won against Tempo Storm and then they'd throw away the victory. It happened no matter how far ahead they were, they'd find a way to do it. It's only recently, as in the last couple months, that they've managed to really stop throwing games away in that particular fashion. And as such, they were able to win the North America Championships. Sorry, just the America Championships. So, let's have a look at some of the... Oh, we have the team list. Nope, that's EU again. There's so many things to click on. I have too many tabs. If I saw this many tabs open on someone else's computer, I would get annoyed. So yeah, the team here, Dunk Train, King Caffeine, iDream, K1 Pro, and Fan. And a very solid team there. Dunk Train, very solid support. King Caffeine, definitely one of my favourite tanks to watch in the America regions. He is very, very solid, very good player there. So, let's have a look at some of their play here. Some of the heroes that they like to prioritise quite a bit, or at least that you will see them play to great ability, is we will see Tastar popping out at a surprising amount, but that is more an NA region thing, as opposed to anything else. We see the Leoric, but once again, patch coming in soon. This could be changed. Owl actually hit there. We have the Owl bug, wonderful. But he just heals up due to how the hall works when the game starts. Sorry, how the base works when the game starts. Tyrande, once again, we see quite a bit. Not in this game from Cloud9, but it is on the map from Tempo Storm. So once again, bit of a region thing we see quite a lot. And Jaina, we see a reasonable amount from Cloud9 as well, but they mostly seem to play a very meta style, not too often going out of the ordinary and stuff. Fan, nice dwarf toss there, very, very solid player. And there we go. There is King Caffeine getting out of there. So let's find the first clip I have. It is a... here we go, 38 minutes 40 seconds. So, the style of play that Cloud9 has is absolutely an area of control style. They want to take the area they're fighting... Oh, went way too far there. Too far. Yeah, they want to take the area they are fighting in and make it theirs. And they will find a way to do that. So you can already see a tribute happening up there. They want to try and clear out this camp as much as possible while Tazadar holds off that tribute. You can see in there K1 Pro trying to delay out while the rest of his team makes their way up so that they're not losing that mid lane while they are fighting over this tribute. So we can see King Caffeine coming in now as well. And many of you may recognize this particular clip from the Americas Championships due to the fact that it's one of my favorites ever in Heroes of the Storm. King Caffeine trying to grab this tribute. You see Kael'thas getting focused, the Entomb from Leoric to stop the Butcher charge, and immediately they've controlled the fight. They turn the fight in their favor and they start to focus down Butcher. Butcher does get has already had to retreat, is getting taken down thanks to those living bombs, and is still alive thanks to great healing from the side of Tempo Storm, who are just a spectacular team in their own right. But the control of that fight was Cloud9's from the second King Caffeine made that move, and then they just had good focus in general. So really good job. Kael'thas still went down, but the fact he was alive long enough to get all those living bombs off was a spectacular move on the side of Cloud9. So the next clip we have is a positioning one, because Cloud9, very exceptional positioning, as do all of these teams, but their positioning in these fights are pretty spectacular, and I actually have a bit to show somewhere. 255. We skipped over a lot of these, this series, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. Here we go. 16 is good. So you can see here, Tempo Storm currently is 2-2. So this is the winner takes the series. This is already an intense game, and already a lot of damage going down. You can see Living Bomb and Chain Bomb applied to pretty much all of these people. Malfurion popping that Tranquility to make sure everyone is healed up. Their composition, they have that Jaina out there with an Ice Lance build, which is not too uncommon from them. The Tyrande with a Searing Arrows build, and their Zagara is in the area as well. So they're trying to back out of there while those living bombs are applied to them, make sure they stay healthy. But they start to turn around here, and while this is happening, while the fight was happening, K1 Pro came from below, and this forced Soldier to reposition himself due to the fact he was taking too much damage from K1 Pro thanks to those Searing Arrows. So Soldier getting ancestral healings here. March of the Black King, immediate splits from everyone. They're able to take down Leoric with that, thanks to that. And in the meantime, King Caffeine, who was not in danger of getting hit, was focusing on the weak member of Tempo Storm, able to pick him up due to the fact he was on no health. And as such, Cloud9 were able to take the fight, take control of the area, and the positioning was just spectacular. They controlled that fight from where they were standing to where the enemies were positioned, and were able to take them down in that way. So, spectacular job there. And of course, seeing as they were the champions, they do go on to win this game in pretty spectacular fashion. So, very interesting to see these teams and how they stack up against each other. So, for example, we have some incredibly different styles, some incredibly different teams. Team DK, for example, like we already said, it's going to be very hard to play melee assassins against them, whereas we have Na'Vi, who seems to be very, very efficient and proficient with their melee assassins, which is quite interesting. A lot of priority from a lot of these teams onto Tyrael and Tyrande. So Tyrande, if nothing changes by BlizzCon, quite likely to be a very highly contested pick. Maybe not ban-worthy, but at least going to be picked up by the teams in most of the games, I am pretty sure. Dignitas, bit of the wild card in there. Their playstyle is a little bit different to some of the other teams. Na'Vi's is definitely the most out there, due to the fact that their pick style is very different to the control styles of the other teams. But Dignitas, their control style a little bit different, whereas DK control with sustain, and Cloud9 control with positioning and their own heroic focus, focusing with their heroics and using their heroics and focusing targets down. Whereas Dignitas control with their own positioning as well, but they do it a lot differently. It's very hard to describe when you're trying to describe the difference between two teams here, but it's going to be very interesting to see. And also we have the different talent builds we see quite a lot as well. But yeah, the Na'Vi style, definitely the most interesting and out there. They have great control skills like the other teams, but their pick compositions and their pick strategies seem to be the ones that they are just fantastic with, and the ones that are a lot different to the other teams in this list. So those are our first four that we have covered here, and next week we're going to be talking about Tempo Storm, E-Star Gaming, Team YL, and Team Logitech Gear. So, those are the teams that we will be talking about. These have been the teams that I have talked about today. And I want you guys to leave a comment in the comment section below. What do you think about these teams? Who do you think is going to have the advantage of BlizzCon? Obviously, it's quite a bit away. There's a lot that can change, which is why I've been prefacing this with, yes, there's patches coming, the playstyles are going to change, the meta is going to change. This is just as they are from when they qualified. What did they look like? How are they playing? How are they working together as a team? And what is their playstyle like? How can that be looked at? And how can we learn from that? So right now, most of these compositions work. Most of these compositions for this is like what's relevant to us now. Most of these compositions that we can use, for example, Na'Vi's composition with the Mighty Gust and the Lantern Assaulter, definitely usable in an average Hero League game. If you just get Mighty Gust has a very short cooldown, so that can just be spammed out and just used. So you can get that combo. So you can already get a very decent combo with just an easy pick potential on that one. So that's a very easy composition to make work. Very hard composition to make work at a professional level. Na'Vi are just exceptionally good at it, but that's a composition you guys can use in the future. A lot of the rest of these are due to team communication, so you have to, if you're playing with friends, then make sure you're communicating, make sure you know where your positioning is, try and make sure that you are forcing someone else out of position as much as possible. It seems to be the theme from all of these teams. And if you like the Team DK style, then maybe a sustainy team is good for you. Like, damage isn't everything in Heroes of the Storm. You've got to keep your players alive, which is why we saw the Protect the Hammer comps, to protect the Illidan comps. So maybe shields seem to be very much in at the moment. So heroes that can give their teammates shields are pretty down. So take that as what you will, especially with the Chen. It's only tiny changes, but the slight Chen changes coming up. So that might be quite interesting to have a look at. But yeah, leave comments in the comment section below. I have nowhere near covered everything. No way in hell. And this is only from a lot of these teams, especially the American teams. I only know what I saw at the event themselves. I don't have a huge amount. I don't watch a huge amount of American heroes. I watch as much as I can, but I can only watch so much. China, I'm actually going to have to do a lot of research this week, so I can make sure that I am as up to date as I can be for next week. So that's going to be very interesting. Taiwan, I'm a bit better, but we will see. But just take everything I say with a pinch of salt here. This is just from what I can look at, what I can get from it. So you just have to take what you see yourselves, what you know yourselves, and work with it as what will work best for you. As with everything that I say on this show, it's all about what works best for you guys. So guys, I have been Tetcher. My throat is killing me, and my brain is killing me from all the research I did, but thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more from this series, then go into the description. You will see a link to a playlist for every episode of this series and a playlist to every series that I do. If you guys like to see suggestions for things I should talk about on Tetcher Teachers, or things I should play in any of my other series, then leave them as a comment in the comment section below. And remember that Stitches still needs a name, so please feel free to name that Stitches. I don't have a challenge yet for the Tetcher Community Challenge. That will be announced tomorrow, just at the end of the next video, so I don't have it a day in advance as I usually do, because I haven't come up with one. But we will come up with something. So guys, once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you. Actually, yes I do. I just came up with one right now. Stealth. Show me something very... play a hero that can get stealth. I am banning Zeratul and Nova. So play any hero who can get stealth except for those two, and show me what you can do with it. Just use it to the best of your abilities. So that is the challenge for Tetcher Community Challenge on the next week. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.